and welcome. Today's guest is the co-founder and chief operating officer of Aerial Recovery Group, a special forces veteran who uses his 20 years of military experience to lead humanitarian missions. He now plans and leads rescue and recovery operations in the most austere conditions around the world. After discovering his post-military purpose, he co-founded Heal the Heroes, an initiative helping veterans to heal and use their unique skill sets in meaningful and life-saving ways. A true hero himself, please welcome retired Special Forces Sergeant Jeremy Locke. Welcome, Jeremy, to the show. It is an honor and a privilege to have you with us, and thank you for your service.
Of course. It's my pleasure, and thank you so much for having me and allowing me to have a platform to spread what we've got going on.
You are doing incredible work in the world. So let's talk a little bit about Aerial Recovery Group. What's the mission of the organization and what's its genesis? Why was it started?
Well, the mission of the organization is to essentially use veterans who already have the most amazing skill sets in the world and repurpose them to now become not just military operators, but actually become humanitarian operators. So I remember in 2019, I'll just kind of go back and give you a quick little story on this because I'm a storyteller and I just kind of love telling stories. But
Amazing.
so
We can't wait. Tell us. Take us back to 2019.
All right, 2019. So at that time, I had served 18 years in the service. My first 10 years was in the regular Army. I was in the infantry. And then to that point, that was another 8 years in the Special Forces as a Green Beret. And I started dating my wife now, and she's also the co-founder of Aerial Recovery, which is a blessing because I get to work with her and do good with her. But she was actually out there planning an operation to go to Hurricane Dorian response before Dorian hit in the Bahamas. And I remember going up and seeing her on a whiteboard, and I was like, "What are you doing right now?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to go help out all these people that are about to be affected by this hurricane." I was like, "Okay, that's interesting. Well, I want to come, and I'm very adventurous." So I went and asked my unit, is like, "Hey, can I get some leave? I want to go help and serve." So long story short, I got out to Dorian and I saw the devastation that was out there. It was unbelievable. This was a Category 5 hurricane that stood stagnant for almost 24 hours over one area of the Bahamas. And it was just complete and utter devastation. But what I quickly understood was this isn't any different than what I had seen in the military, especially in the Special Forces. And I have a unique skill set and experience that can be applied to this situation, which can help eliminate the confusion. It can help serve the people of Bahamas that were affected by this storm. So that was kind of the origin of Aerial Recovery. We got together and we blended it between a hybrid of special operations forces and tactics, combined with my wife, Brittany Turner's entrepreneur instincts and experience. And we've created this amazing hybrid of elite special operations with high level entrepreneur business mindset. And that's the way that we've tackled so many disasters since then. And it's fantastic.
What disasters have you responded to? What missions are currently active? I know you may have started with Dorian in 2019, but you have not stopped since. So talk to us a little bit about what you're currently doing.
Yeah, and just to remember, during 2019, I was in between two deployments to Syria. I was still very much an active duty Green Beret, and I was taking my personal leave to go out and serve the people of the world, which was absolutely my pleasure. Since then, I redeployed again in 2020, and then mid 2020, I dropped my retirement packet and I started focusing full time on aerial recovery. And as we like to say, is we hit the ground running. From then, I've done 5 hurricane responses, everywhere from Honduras down to Southeast Louisiana, Hurricane Ian response down in Florida in the Fort Myers region. We've been to Kentucky for tornadoes that went through there. We've been to places in Africa. We've been all over the world. Tajikistan, we not only help with natural disasters, we also help with man-made disasters. So during the withdrawal of U.S. and coalition troops from Afghanistan, we helped over 200 refugees get out of Afghanistan, which was very, very difficult at that time and is even more difficult now. And we put them up and set them up in Tajikistan, which was an honor to do that. And as everybody knows, in late February of 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine, and we responded to that too. And we've been out there and we've rescued over 5,500 orphans and internally displaced people away from the front lines of the fighting. And we've settled them over in the western part of Ukraine where they're more safe and they can be accounted for and protected. We've been all over the place with volcanic eruption in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There's been so many responses that we've had the pleasure of helping those in their darkest time and their greatest time of needs. It's been wonderful to serve. A lot of times it's unfortunate that we have to, but the people of aerial recovery, myself, my wife, and the military veterans that are now working in a renewed purpose, this is what we know. This is what we are experts at, and this is what we love to do. So we literally find healing through helping others heal. And it's just a beautiful synergy.
That is absolutely incredible. So you are able to help veterans heal, to find purpose, and then to get right back out there and serve, whether that is in the US responding to tornadoes or hurricanes, or abroad responding to humanitarian crises. That's just absolutely incredible. So veterans make up the front line, right? You are out there and you're providing the medical care and the humanitarian aid. Take us through all of the ways that veterans can get involved in the organization and the different ways that they can serve.
We want to touch and assist all of the heroes of the service, first responders, and people that actually just support veterans. I mean, we are comprised and led by primarily special operations veterans, but we welcome those who have the heart to serve. We just treat everything just like it's a military operation. So before we go and do any sort of service, we have to make sure that we're qualified and we're trained and we are healed enough physically, mentally, and spiritually to go out and actually be a blessing to these people under a very rehearsed plan and operating procedures. So this is very familiar jargon to those who have been in the military, and we offer different avenues for them to get involved. The one I'm most excited about right now is a new initiative. It's called Heal the Heroes. I'm actually on the final day 5 of Heal the Heroes platoon right now in the aerial BVI in British Virgin Islands. And what this does is it actually allows people who know these veterans who aren't just ones that are out in this world thriving, but these ones that are right now back at home that are wounded and that are injured and are feeling pain and the pressures of anxiety and depression and have suicidal thoughts, and the ones that are hurt from the service of serving others. And so we allow people to nominate these veterans that they're seeing struggling to go into this program. And what we do is we take them out here to this amazing, beautiful place and invest and really pour into them. And it's the beginning of a 365-day program to get their mind, body, and spirit correct and get them on the path of purpose. We have a saying over here, it's we're trying to prescribe purpose, not pills. And these guys out here, they get fired up. They are ready to continue their service, and they understand that their mission in the military might be over, but their mission in life has just begun. Those skills, that mindset, that experience that they have from traveling to these austere conditions, these dangerous conditions, and a lot of times very difficult and tough and sad conditions, those were all just obstacles in their life that they knew how to get around or burst through. And now that they are back and currently outside of the military, that safety net or that environment inside of the military has been taken from them. But what we're here to remind them is you're still the same person and you are in a new environment. There are veterans that are just like you that are out there and ready to serve. And what we're doing is we're connecting them. We're creating a new group, a new army of good, if you will, of these military veterans to go out and continue service on and repurposed. It's really amazing.
That is so powerful. This is a year-long program. Talk to us about some of the components that these veterans are going to experience over their year-long journey and beyond.
Yes, absolutely. So the important thing to remember, and especially for me, is that I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist, but what I am is I'm a peer to them. Sometimes I'm somebody that they look up to, but they only look up to me or feel equal to me just because I've been through the same experiences of them. And what we're really trying to get them to understand is trauma can come from anything. It can come from war, it can come from a car accident, it can come from abuse when you were a kid, and the symptoms of it are all the same. There are so many people in this world that have suffered trauma, unfortunately, but they can find healing, and they're not any different than us in the military. So we use that mindset to make them understand that you're not alone in this. Just because you're a veteran does not mean you're isolated from the rest of the world. So the concept behind this program is to bring them into an all-immersive, safe environment, which we have here at the Aero BVI, which has a curated program that uses physical trainers that are experts in how the body moves and continue and keeping you feeling better, so the rest of you can feel better. We have doctors out here. We have social workers. We have all these people that want to pour back in them. But the main thing we have is we have a safe environment. They are here immersed with fellow veterans, and we slowly design these exercises that they go through. We connect them back to nature. We get them moving and in a positive environment and show them that there's so many people that care about them. And it allows them to understand that true strength sometimes comes inside of vulnerability. And the breakthroughs that we've had, I'm literally here right now, and there are some of these veterans above me eating breakfast, and we just got out of a session, and there are guys they're saying things they've never said to their therapists, they've never said to their wives, and they're saying it in this environment because they feel safe. So we've enabled and allowed them to be put in a spot where they can finally start processing these emotions, and they're fired up about it. It's great. And that's just the first 5 days. And after that, we're going to get them, and we're going to continue on with a whole 12-week program that allows them to keep processing that, puts them on calls with experts and with the Veterans Affairs and experts that have all these other types of healing programs. So we want to get them as many options as possible to go out there and really find true healing for themselves. And in my opinion, that really is purpose. When these guys know that there's good in the world that needs to be done, and they're the ones for it, they are completely unstoppable. So we have 5 days, 12-week program, keeping them fired up in their purpose, giving them a path, a plan of life that incorporates them, their mission, their family, their friends, their God, whatever it is that keeps them motivated. That then we connect them in, and we really immerse them in with the civilian field inside of G-Force, which is a group of Force for Good entrepreneurs that understand that these veterans are assets. But what we got to do is get these veterans to understand that they're assets. And they do this being connected in that same platoon. And even after that year's over, they'll fall into an alumni program where they'll stay connected with each other. So we can just work as a team, which is what we're familiar with. So, I mean, we're really excited about this. This program is well thought out, it's well curated, and it's ready to go. But we do understand that times change, and you have to be flexible and adaptable. And we will be changing and constantly doing this thing and really helping these guys and gals out.
So important to help them connect to their purpose. And then what I'm most impressed about is really the holistic approach that you are taking. So it's mind, body, spirit, and you're connecting them to resources that are available to them, and you're connecting them to a like-minded community, and you're connecting them to entrepreneurs who can provide job opportunities. I mean, it really is a comprehensive, well thought out path to heal the heroes and to allow these men and women who have served so powerfully and sacrificed so much to continue to be supported and walk in their purpose and really contribute. You talked a little bit earlier about some of the trainings that you do and really allowing these veterans to retrain to be able to respond in a humanitarian disaster, or either man-made or natural. So talk to us a little bit about what those trainings look like. And also, are they only for veterans, or can first responders or the public at large go through these trainings?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words. And with any mission, anybody who's untrained, they're gonna make the mission more difficult. So we understand this, and it's not rocket science to me, especially because I've been doing this for 20 years in the military. Before we go out and we serve, we have to make sure that we're trained and we are prepared ourselves. So what we have designed is we designed a 3-tiered program, just as I would in the special operations community. So we have a basic training, which is for our tier 3 candidates, and that's is followed by their online training, which anybody can find on aerialrecovery.org. And that's basically getting people to understand that, like, you're not just out there to accomplish a mission, especially our veterans. You're out there to help those that you saw hurt or harmed or in danger before from your experience. We are now focused on the humanitarian aspect. We don't have an enemy out there. Well, all we have is we have survivors and victims that need help. So we have to have compassion. We have to approach the problem from a different mindset. It's not a big hammer that's going in there and suppressing and making sure that there's no danger. What it is now is it's going in with a heart set mindset, which is so important to be able to help these people that are struggling from some very, very difficult times. So the way our tiered program is, it really focuses on mindset, but it also gives you the skills to be able to be a medical responder and do basic first aid, buddy aid, and really understand the environment, land navigation. How do we talk to people of positions of authority? How do we talk to people that are victims or survivors? We have to use empathy, we have to sympathize, and we have to strategize to make sure that we come up with the best plan. So as these tiers go down, tier 3 is our basic level, and then our intermediate is a tier 2 operator. You're going to start getting more advanced stop the bleed training, how to apply your tourniquets. We're going to start introducing some, we call it tactical combat casualty care in the military, TCCC. But basically what that is it's stopping the main life-threatening injuries that you might find in these disasters and getting them packaged and ready to get moved to higher care. Because the nature of aerial recovery, we get into places fast, like Pakistan. Pakistan is so difficult to get into, especially on an American passport. And we got there after the massive flooding that just took place over there. We're talking 1/3 of the country, 33 million internally displaced people, 16 million of those being children. And we were able to get out and inside Pakistan in a week. And we went out there and were able to serve and do so much good and really go out in these crazy hard to get to places and help rescue these people and pass them on and get them to hospitals, inside of helicopters, inside of boats, whatever is needed. But you have to be able to understand the nature of the environment you're going into and the nature of the people that you're going into. And that's why we use the special forces mentality, which is working by, with, and through local populations to be the most effective you can be. And then also when you leave, to have an everlasting impact, to now empower those that are inside of that country to continue the good that you showed them when you're no longer there.
That's so important, to work by, through, and with the locals, right? It's so important to cultivate those relationships and then to be able to pass the baton when you leave. So it's not just you're coming in doing good for a week or 2 weeks and then poof, gone. Now they're and now they're back to square one. So I love that you're really empowering people there on the ground, the locals, to be able to continue that work after you leave. Now, that is a really heavy lift. I know in Pakistan, you fed over 11,000 people. I know you mentioned in the Ukraine having rescued over 5,500 people. You've got boots on the ground all over the world. I mean, the work is ongoing. So it obviously takes a village, right, to get everything done. Talk to us a little bit about some of the partnerships that you form. If someone wanted to sponsor an initiative or sponsor a veteran, or if someone has a business that would love to partner with you to become a sponsor for medical supplies or food, talk to us a little bit about what you need or who you work with or how they can help.
Yes, absolutely. And first of all, what I missed one part of your question from earlier that I really do want to address. I had this military mindset right now because we've got all these veterans here, but we are very much interactive and encourage anybody who wants to get involved with this natural and man-made disaster relief to reach out and contact Aerial Recovery. Those 3-tiered program I was talking about, those are open to anybody. We as military instructors love to teach and we love to work with civilians too. And we do understand that, I mean, these are everybody from a nurse or a doctor all the way down to somebody who's a bookkeeper that can make sure that receipts are put straight. But if really what you need to be effective is you need to have the right heart to be going in, and a big heart can do so much good. So we absolutely welcome anybody who wants to come join. And that's why we have the training program. If you have a deficit in some areas, we will teach you how to do it. And then we will also make sure that you are ready yourself at that point in time in your life to be able to go deploy and be a blessing on people, not a burden on people. So just wanted to make sure everybody understands that, like, we enjoy working with civilians. We are civilians now. We were civilians before we joined the military, and we were in the military citizen soldiers. So the collaboration is amazing, and we can learn so much from each other. So that's really huge. And we do understand that, civilians bring something to the table, as well as we understand what we bring to the table. When we go out and we work in Pakistan, those 11,000 people that we were able to feed, that wasn't just us. We were actually invited and went out with this group called Global Empowerment Mission, which is out of Miami, Florida. And this is a great organization who specializes in large scale aid to places that need it the most. They are all over the world too. We've been on multiple missions with them. And what we bring to them is we bring the ability to get into places quickly. We bring the ability to get out to hard areas and set up logistical networks. And while we are out rescuing people, whether it be in Pakistan or Ukraine or Florida, we go out with Global Empowerment Mission aid, drop off aid, and then we bring and rescue people when we return to get more aid. So it's a perfect synergy. And we do this with a lot of different organizations because we understand that these organizations are experts in what they do, whether it be water mission with water, or it be Operation Blessing with working with churches and getting aid out there and helping in any way they can. We always see, I don't want to miss people when I name them, so I apologize if I do miss any of you guys, but we see World Central Kitchen out there a lot, just delivering hot meals to people who need it, feeding those who are out serving. There's so many wonderful organizations that are out there that have a real lasting impact. And the importance is for us to understand our strengths and what our weaknesses are so we can come together and work together and be the biggest blessing on any mission or operation we go on. So that's absolutely wonderful to do that. I'm out here talking. I forget the second part of your question, but I would love to answer it.
Well, you're answering it very well. I love the collaboration, right? The partnerships, whether that's with Global Empowerment Mission or Operation Blessing or any of the number of other organizations that you journey alongside in this incredible mission. So the second part is, if someone is a business owner, for example, or they have an organization and they would like to donate medical supplies, or they'd like to partner with you on the medical front, or they'd like to donate food or mental health, whatever their area of expertise may be, if they would like to get involved and partner alongside you, how can they do that?
Yeah, this might be one of the most important questions, because without support, we can't do this. And we've had the blessings to be able to get this far with wonderful support from individuals and businesses. And you can find our website at arrowrecovery.org. You can email info@arrowrecoverygroup.com. You can go to our Instagram at Arrow Recovery Group and send DMs out there. You can even just follow what we're doing and raise awareness, and you can change conversations when you're at the table and really talk about all this need that's out there in the world, because you might fire somebody up and they might want to be the ones that actually go out there and would just love for people to be advocates of us. You can donate to any of the ongoing missions we have going on. We do need to have, funds with us so we're able to respond to other disasters. By the nature of our work, the majority of our support comes in after disaster happens. Donations at any time make it great because it makes it a better and more lasting response when something does happen, whether it be a hurricane or an earthquake. That's completely so needed for us. Another thing too is with this Heal the Heroes program I spoke about, the 365 days and hopefully enduring past that. This is a lot that we're investing into these veterans because we believe in them. And if you want to sponsor a veteran, you can do that at arrowrecovery.org, but we really need people to nominate those who really need it. And it does cost for one veteran to go through an entire year-long program. It's $15,000, which it might seem like a lot now, but I promise you, for that veteran, for that family, for those that they will impact and the lives that will be enriched by their healing, it is such a low amount. And we really appreciate, if that's too high, any you can give towards the program. But we have different initiatives that we do. We also help support with anti-human trafficking. You can learn how we do that a lot more by having conversations with myself or attending those types of events. There's different initiatives on our websites, whatever you feel called to do. Or if you just want to know of other organizations, we just want to spread goodness in the world. So we'll connect you to whoever you feel like tithing to, whoever you feel like helping with. And if you want to physically help with us, go on there and sign up for some of our training programs, and I'll see you in person when I'm training you. And that's probably my favorite one there too, is actually working and interacting with people that have passions and purposes that align with mine and my teams.
I love that. So there are so many ways for people to get involved, whether that's to go through the trainings and become part of the volunteer force, whether that's to donate money to any of the initiatives, whether that's to nominate and sponsor a veteran to go through the Heal the Heroes program, whether that's to partner with you in terms of resources or mission, so many ways. The need is great. The mission is great, and I love that there's really a way for anyone to get involved in the way that best aligns with them. Now, we
Yeah.
talked about how the need is so great, and there's so many different aspects and so many different needs. How do you prioritize which missions you take?
Well, we have a practical approach. Where is the need the greatest? What is places that are difficult for other organizations that aren't as specialized or nimble as flexible to get into? How long do we need to be there? Where are we standing with our donations? Are we able to respond? And at the end of the day, we put those factors together, and honestly, we pray about it. We find strength in where we want to go. We make sure we have the means to do it, and we make sure that we're called to go there. If we don't go to a place and it's something's happening that's going on and we feel called to help in some way, we will contact our partners and see if there's any way we can assist them to get out there. We would love to respond to every disaster that's out there. That would be my dream, is to just scale to a point where we can train veterans. And there's just so many of our SOAR teams, which is our Special Operations Advanced Reconnaissance teams, which are highly skilled military and civilian operators that go out and get to places within 48 hours and start immediate impact. And the more of those, the more support we get, the more we can scale, and the more of these disasters we can go and help out, which is really what our dream is, to just get there where we can. We very much specialize in hurricanes. We're very active during the hurricane season. I mean, we try to go anywhere that we're capable of going, to be honest with you.
I love that. So important. May your dream of scaling to where you can respond to every natural disaster or every humanitarian crisis, may that come true. May that
Thank you.
come true.
That would be amazing.
Now, let's talk a little bit, because you are incredibly strong. 20 years in active duty, you have been deployed numerous times. It has not always been easy. And you are
Yeah.
taking the lessons that you learned and now helping to empower others. How have you been able to persevere through all the tough times?
And I mean, we just went through 5 days of this on island, and I really want people to understand that there is such power in your personal story, and being able to say things aloud, even if it's just you talking to yourself in the mirror at the beginning, or you praying, or just to get words to come out of your mouth and to be spoken. There's so much power in that. And if you can speak these words in an environment of safety and around people that will support you, I encourage everybody to tell your story. I've been through so many wonderful things in my life, and I've been through so many very terrible things in my life. And they are all part of my story. They are all part of my past, which shaped who I am now today. But what I've learned to do now is to recognize that my past is just a place of reference. It's not a place of residence. So I learn from my past, but I don't dwell on it, because once I start dwelling on my past, that's where I start getting very depressed. If I start worrying about my future, that's when I start getting anxious. So the most I can stay now, here I am today, where I am today, who's around me today, that's what I really try to impact, is just by being present where I am today. And that's what's worked for me. And I tell you, and I'll share just a little bit of my story, because I encourage people that are watching this, especially I encourage veterans that are watching this, to understand that you aren't alone. There's so many people that have gone through difficult things, and I'm myself one of them. I am by no means healed, but I do find healing in telling my story, and I find healing in helping others. I went through a very difficult time. I went through, terrible relationships. I went through trauma when I was younger. I went through seeing people I know killed and mutilated in very difficult ways. I went through having to kill people during wartime events as well, which is super traumatic. And all of these things that I've seen and all these experiences, it led to me a very dark place. There were multiple times in my life that I contemplated suicide. I had it all figured out. I had the way I was going to do it. I even rehearsed it. I mean, I was in a dark place in my life. And through the light and understanding that I'm not alone in it, and being able to speak these words and process it, it didn't happen overnight, but it did happen, and it is happening to me right now. I understand it's a continuous process, and I'll always have to work on it. But if you've got any of those demons, you have to get rid of those demons and those things that are holding you back, because the demons inside of you will kill the angel and people around you. And it's a very difficult thing to understand, but you guys are protectors, you guys are fighters, and just by the nature of who you are and everything you've been through, always protect people and fight for people, but understand you have to come from a place of strength, and that fight has to start with you. Make sure that you are happy, you are healed, you are healthy, because a better you will create better people around you. So I just really encourage people, and with this Heal the Heroes program we got going on, if you have something going on in your life, don't wait for somebody to nominate you. Nominate yourself. We have a gentleman out here who nominated himself because he was in that dark place and he was ready to end his own life. And he took that first step of strength, and he reached out to us, and we have him here now. And I can see that healing beginning. It is not over for him, and it's not over for anybody. There are people in this world that'll be out there. They are out there for you, and they're out there to protect you, and they want to see you succeed. I promise you, you're not alone. So please, please, please reach out. Locke@aerialrecoverygroup.com. You can send me a message directly if you want to know about our organization, or if you are in a place where you're not feeling good about yourself and you feel like you want to harm yourself or anybody else, you can reach out to me directly, and I will talk to you, and I will connect you to somebody that can help you. I'm telling you, take that first step. That first step towards goodness leads to so much more goodness.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. So if someone is experiencing that dark place, or they're in fear, or they're in judgment or overwhelm, step one is to reach out and to know
Yes.
that they're not alone, right? Reach out, ask for help. Step two is to learn to share your story, even if that's in the mirror. I heard you say, what other steps can someone take? What are some other tools and strategies that you've used and that you've learned along the way that have helped you? Because now more than ever, not only in the veteran space, but teen suicide is at an all-time high.
Mhm.
As a result of the pandemic, we are seeing mental health really come to the forefront. There's a lot of overwhelm. There's a lot of fear and uncertainty. There's a lot of feelings of hopelessness and impending doom with, all the political climate, the fiscal climate, the uncertainty, all the things, right? So I think these are really important to cover, and you have walked the walk, you've experienced it, you've come out on the other side, and you're helping others to do the same. So share some of the most powerful tools and strategies that you've seen that can help others.
I would love to, and I'm so passionate about this. People need to understand that there really is hope, and some of the tools that I've put in my toolkit that have worked for me is, you have to understand your environment. I talked a little bit ago about, don't use your past as a place of residence, use it as a place of reference. But one thing that really can affect us, if you're trying to be present, but you're trying to be present in a place that's not safe, you have to remove yourself from that environment. And that's not just that environment. You have to remove yourself from people that are around you that are influencing you to do things that don't make you feel good. It's as simple as that. If you are someone who struggles with alcohol and maybe you go to alcohol, which is what I went to alcohol for nearly 15 years of my life. I was an alcoholic, and I understood that. And used to hang out with people that would take me to bars all the time. And I don't even say take me, they helped enable me to go to things that I was using to suppress problems I had in the past. So once I really understood that I need to get rid of these blocks in my life, and while I wasn't strong enough to get rid of alcohol right away, what I was strong enough to do was to distance myself from people that were enabling me to hurt myself. I found people around me that I really loved, that I knew really loved me, and I leaned on them and they supported me. And I just detached myself from those that put me in places that were harming me. And I reattached myself to people and places that were there to actually look out for my best interests. And that whole process is super, super, it's not easy. I don't want to say it's super difficult, but what you will find, and it actually works out great, is when you remove yourself from people that are there, that are anchors, that are kind of holding you back, and then, telling you as you're trying to escape and better yourself that, hey, this isn't you, this is, who do you think you are? It gives you that imposter syndrome, but they don't get to tell you how to live your life. Those people are the ones that you really need to distance yourself from. And then you'll start seeing these other people that come around, they're supportive and they really want to help you. Really gravitate to those because, like I said before, you're not alone. So simply change your top five. Take a look at who the top five people you spend most of your time with around right now, and really take the time to understand who they are and are they really in your best interest. And then think of other five people that you might want to hang out with that are positive influences. Someone you might listen to on YouTube, or one of your friends or a family member that you don't really talk to a whole bunch, but they seem very positive and they seem like they have things together, or they've gone through an experience that you're going through and they defeated it and they're doing well. Start getting to know those people. Detach from those five that are holding you back and attach to those five that will help you forward. So that's my big advice right there, is really change the people you're hanging with and change the environment that you're inside of. And that'll really, really help you out. And you just got to put yourself in situations of positivity. And it's difficult at first, but I always say, if you're taking these steps, you're going to take these steps and they're going to go well, go well, go well, but you might dip back down. That's okay. Just like working out, you're not going to work out every day, but if you work out more days than not, you're trending up. Just keep trending up and keep understanding and knowing that as long as you're on that positive path and you want to grow and you want to heal, like, you will get there. It might take a while, but you will get there. And if you put the right people around you, they will help you get there. And it is possible.
Yeah, community is everything. Community is absolutely everything, not only for the accountability, but for the support, for the encouragement. And so I love that you're saying, look at who you spend your time with, look at where you're spending your time, look at your environment. And if your environment is not serving you, if your environment is not helping you to feel joy, to feel empowered, to have clarity, to feel hopeful, then put yourself in a different environment. And there are communities. You have one. If someone needs a community, they can reach out to you. They can become part of Aerial Recovery Group. They can get into proximity with other like-minded individuals who see you, who understand you, who have been there, who will support you and encourage you. And there are many organizations, many communities out there of like-minded individuals. So if you are someone who is struggling, know that you're not alone. So if you are someone who says, well, I don't know anyone, my family sucks, my friends suck, I don't have any money, blah, blah, all of that, right? If that's where you are, then I love the resource of podcasts, YouTube, Facebook communities, meetup communities. There are so many ways to change your environment. There are so many communities of people who can help you heal, help you thrive. It's so important. Put yourself into environments and put yourself into communities where you are supported.
It is. Yeah, you just nailed it. That is absolutely right. You're not alone, and there are resources there. Just please take that first step.
Yes, take that first step. Now, you've been a part of many communities and you've had some great mentors, some great leaders.
Mhm.
What's the best advice that you have received?
Whew. Um, that top 5 advice, I'm telling you, that stuff is powerful. The who you find yourself around and just what room you put yourself in, that's huge to me. Another great piece of advice that I always got was to always be prepared. If you have a dream in life, if there's something that you want to have come true, just study it, whether that's formal education for it, whether that's listening to podcasts or reading books, or just study it and then create a plan of action for it, because you will find yourself in a circumstance that will lead you towards that passion and towards that dream. So just be prepared for it. There's that adage, right? Like, luck is simply preparation that meets opportunity. That is so very true. If you want to create something or do anything in your life, like, practice that elevator pitch, put into words what your passion is, and just talk about it to people. Change the conversations you have with people, because there are too many people in this world to be in a room with the very few amount that are there. Find out why you are in that room with those people. And if you are in a room and you start talking to these people and they aren't saying the things that you like, just go find a different room and talk to different people. It's just, I would just say, just have a plan and really understand what your purpose is. And if you don't know it, just talk to people and just search for it. It's fun. It's a fun little adventure to find out why you were on this earth. It is so freeing.
Absolutely. I love how you put that. It's a fun little adventure.
Yeah, it
The
is.
childlike curiosity, right? To explore. Powerful advice that
Mhm.
you've received. What's something that you wish someone had told you that you had to find out the hard way?
Oh man, there's a lot of those. Um, there's definitely a lot of those. I think the important thing to remember is, though, I really am a firm believer of the obstacles and the trials that we've been through in life. Those are simply put there to make us stronger on the other side of them. So that's something I do believe in. So if you are struggling with difficulties right now, there's going to be a brighter future on the other side, and just learn from them. One thing I think I would love to have known is anything is possible. And if you're going to swing for the fences, take that moonshot, just swing for the moon. And if you're out there and you set yourself this giant goal that to anybody that you know would say is impossible or unreachable, go tell that goal to other people, because there are people in this world that will help you get to that amazingly giant moonshot. There are people in this world that will support you to Mars and back. I'm sure Elon could probably tell you about that one. But I just, that's what I wish. I wish I really was told this and understood that I am good enough to do anything in this world. I know I'm gonna have to put some work into it, but there are no limitations on the good I can do in this world. And there are no goals or targets that are unreachable. I just have to find the people that can help me reach them.
Absolutely. It goes back to community. It goes back to
Mhm.
asking for help, right? It goes back to sharing your story. Definite full circle moment. So you do a lot. You
Mhm.
see a lot of really hard things. You are unwavering in your mission. How do you stay aligned, even in the hardest of environments and the hardest of circumstances?
I think, for me, I am fortunate enough to have a wonderful, loving, supportive wife, that I always get to come back to, who is that person that will help me achieve these dreams that others have always told me in life that are impossible. She is the one that'll build the rocket ship and put me in it to fly me to the moon. She is my rock and my absolute wonderful supporting person, and I love her dearly. And that's who I really rely on. I am in a fortunate place because we get to travel together a lot. Our purposes and our missions align, so that is a great and wonderful thing for me. I also lean on, like we said, that communities of people that are out there, and I do a very simple tactics. One of them is this thing that a friend of mine his name's Chip, and we were on a hike, and I like to keep my body moving, and it makes me feel good. Like working out or hiking or being in nature, just being outdoors and not behind a screen. That really does help me keep centered. But he was telling me when we were on this hike, he said, Jeremy, when you're by yourself or on a plane and you're not reading a book or something, like, what type of stuff are you watching on YouTube or whatever you do? And I'm like, I kind of like some true crime stuff or mystery stuff or whatever. And he's like, let me stop you right there. I want you to try something for me. And I was like, what's that, Chip? He said, I want you to try something called beauty bathing. And I was like, what the heck is beauty bathing? And he's like, when you are alone and you have time on your hands and you're on YouTube or anything like that, bathe yourself in beauty. Watch something on YouTube that is about nature, that is about something positive, someone speaking on a great topic, somebody that's walking in their purpose and in their passion. Always find something to inspire you in something that is beautiful in your life. The more beauty you allow into your life, the more beautiful your life will be. And that is such simple advice. And I love it. And I encourage people that when you are alone and you constantly learn, but also just put beautiful things around you, put nature around you, the things you watch on your phone or the things you watch on your computer or the types of movies that you watch, the documentaries that watch. Have beautiful things in your life, because it did wonders for me, and it was very simple advice.
I love that. And it really is powerful, right? Some of
Hmm.
the best strategies to create a positive mindset and empowered mindset, and then to be able to maintain it, is to watch what you feed it, right?
Yes.
The inputs equal the outputs. So if you want to remain empowered, if you want to remain inspired, if you want to remain in that grateful, aligned, abundant, joyful, loving place, then I love bathe yourself in the beauty, right? Listen to
Yep.
inspiring podcasts, watch inspiring movies, put yourself in nature, move your body, be around other people who are
Hmm.
dreamers and doers, who inspire you, who think bigger than you. I love everything that you're sharing. And those are things that every single one of us can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Change your
doesn't matter.
algorithm.
Yep.
You know, that stuff you watch, all it does is everybody's listening. It tracks that stuff, starts popping up on your phone. Change your
Yep.
algorithm. Have some beautiful things show up on your phone.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, if you're going to watch, you may as well watch something that uplifts and inspires you and helps you to see possibility and helps you to
Yes.
remember your beauty and your power and your purpose. So important. So you've touched a little bit on your self-care practice, right? Self-care is critical, and it's especially important when you are running into disaster zones, war zones, and you're really seeing some of the most devastating situations. You've mentioned feeding your mind beautiful, empowering, uplifting things. You mentioned learning. You mentioned moving your body. You mentioned being out in nature. What other practices do you have for self care?
So I'm I like to think of myself as a somewhat educated person, but I am pretty simple. I need stuff to be kind of broken down to me sometimes. So I just kind of put things down. I call them, like, I have kind of like 6 principles that I kind of live by, and all it is really just being strong in areas of your life. And it's just, I know I need to be my finances. Like, if you don't have your finances together, it's not the end of the world. There's a very long portion of my life that I didn't have my finances together because I was an alcoholic. And what alcoholics like to do is they like to spend their money on alcohol and not on their bills. So I increased my financial health, and feeling good about your finances is such a freeing feeling, and it takes off so much worry and anxiety. So there's so many resources for that. I work on my spiritual health. For me, I'm a Christian, so I pray and I go to church when I can, and I spend time with God and I spend time with my wife, which is, it's great. And that being strong in that area just makes me feel better, and then I also work on my mental health, and that's a really big one too. And mental health is so important that you got to feed your brain too, because your brain's controlling your entire body. You got to watch the type of food you put into it, which is your physical health. You literally live inside of a Ferrari. The body you have is a miracle. Like, it is an absolute miracle. So watch the fuel that you put into your Ferrari. Like, some of us have older models, right? We have older Ferraris, but you can still put good fuel into it. So that's something that's super important. And all of these things, they're interconnected, and they feed each other, and they really do work together. And one of my favorite ones is, I call it experiential strength, is go out and experience the world. Don't experience it just through what other people are telling you. Don't just experience it through, reading a book or watching a movie or something, it's all well and good, but go out and travel. I love aerial recovery. And I'll tell you, for how terrible you feel in life, for every bum and bad card and bad situation you were ever dealt, start traveling and it will blow your mind, the type of stuff that people in this world have to deal with. And it really is, getting out and experiencing life and experience the world it's an enormous eye opener, and it really puts things into perspective. So I challenge people to do that as well, is to go out and see what real life is and really experience it, and do it with loved ones, and do it in beautiful spots, and see the not so beautiful places, but see the beauty in the not so beautiful places. So that's what I say. Just find a good foundation, whatever you want to do. If you want to have your strong six, do that. Those are the ones I like. If you want to go, if you're really faith-based, you find the source in whatever you need to find your source. Just find a good source and feed your body, feed your Ferrari. Doesn't matter if it's a 2000 model or if it's a 1950s model, still feed your body, feed that Ferrari.
Amen. I love that. Feed your Ferrari.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so true, right? So true. So as we start to wind down, you mentioned, getting out there and living life, experiencing life. So let's take you to the end of yours. You have lived that
That's
life
so
of
far
purpose.
from now, but
I know, right?
so
You
far from
have
now.
so far, so far.
Yeah. I didn't always feel
And
that way, but I do now.
yes, and you've lived an incredible life. You've experienced it all, and you have really walked in your purpose. So
Mhm.
you've come to the end of your life best lived.
Mhm.
What do you want them to say about you?
I would love people to remember me as a man of my word. When I said something, I did it. I would love people to remember me as someone who fought for other people when they couldn't fight for themselves. I would love people to remember me as someone who did his best to save and to liberate, and to help people that are being human trafficked, to help people that are affected by situations that are out of their control. I'd love people to remember me as someone who helped heal veterans and helped heal everybody in this world, to really get them to walk in their purpose. And I'd love people to remember me as someone who cherished his wife and cherished his family, and helped them walk in their purpose as well, and inspired so many to stop swinging for the fences and to start swinging for the moon and taking those moon shots. That's what I'd love.
Amen. And so it is. Now, earlier you shared some of the ways people could reach out and contact you. Let's make sure that those are highlighted again, because
Yes,
I
please.
know that everyone out there is going to run and want to connect with you. They're going to want to volunteer or donate or nominate someone for Heal the Heroes, or just get into proximity with the incredible work that you're doing. So, how can people find you? How can they connect with you? And how can they get involved?
Go on to our website, aerialrecovery.org. You can click on signing up as a volunteer. You can click on the active missions we have going on. If you want to be a donor, you can click on the training events and see when our next training event is and sign up for it. So I really encourage that. I also encourage people to follow Aerial Recovery Group at Aerial Recovery Group on Instagram. And you can follow myself, which is at Locke and Loaded on Instagram too. And if you have questions pertaining to Aerial Recovery Group, just info@aerialrecoverygroup.com works great for that email. And then, as I told you before, I still mean it now, and I'll mean it 20 years from now. If you are really hurting and you need help and you have questions, email me directly at Locke, L-O-C-K-E, @aerialrecoverygroup.com. I will try my best to help you out in any way I possibly can. But that info at Aerial Recovery Group is great if you have general questions. And then following us on Instagram is wonderful, because you can see daily what we're up to and see a lot of the promotions and things that we have going on too. So those would be the ways to reach out, and please let us know too what you have going on too, because we just want to have a bigger community of good people.
Amen. Absolutely. So, before we sign off today, Jeremy, any parting words you'd like to share with the audience?
First of all, I would say thank you so much, Ellie, for allowing me to be on here and telling part of my story and telling a lot of my passion. It's just a blessing to be here. You're definitely somebody I want to be in my top 5. I think you're an amazing human being, a wonderful, powerful, strong woman, and I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you've done for my wife as well. So I think you're absolutely wonderful. And my parting words for everybody else is to just keep on. I don't want to say keep on keeping on. It was like a 70s t-shirt or something, but I really want you guys to know that there's so much good you can do in this world, and you just have to go out there and do it. And if you are struggling with doing it yourself, there are people that will help you do it. So please just go out there and do good in this world and help people and communities that are also doing good in this world. That's what we need, and we really need that right now.
Thank you so much for being with us today, Jeremy. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your continued service. Thank you for the way that you show up in the world. Thank you for running into danger zones and disaster zones, for running into the places where the most vulnerable are in their darkest times, those places that the rest of us run out of. You run in so selflessly, and you inspire others to do the same. So thank you for creating a community of doers, a community of servant leaders, a community of people truly activated, walking in their purpose, making a difference every single day. And thank you for creating a safe space for people to heal and to come home to themselves so that they can thrive. Thank you for also opening that community to anyone with a heart of service. It really does take a village, and you're doing it. You're creating it, you're activating it, you're facilitating it. So, to everyone watching, if you have a heart for service, if you have resources that you can donate, if you want to be involved and become a volunteer, if you have a business that can collaborate and be a partner, please connect with aerialrecoverygroup.org, reach out, become part of the solution, and let's do it together. So thank you so much, Jeremy, for your time today. We know you need to get back to the platoon of heroes who are there gathering to heal. We appreciate you being here with us today.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you so much, Ellie, for having me. And
Thank
you're
you.
welcome to those 100 amazing thank yous you just gave me. You're welcome to all of them.
Thank you. Thank you. Till next
You're
time.
welcome. Yes, thank you.
you.